Hey folks, welcome back to the Stoic Compass. I'm Jim.
And I'm Ellie. Ready to wrestle with some wisdom today?
Before we dive in, smash that like button and subscribe. It helps us keep doing what we love. Plus, Ellie gets cranky when our numbers drop.
I do not get cranky. I get analytically concerned.
Right. So today we're tackling something I personally struggle with every single day. Making decisions.
Oh, this should be good. Jim, how long did it take you to pick your lunch yesterday?
20 minutes. But in my defense, the menu had 17 sandwiches. That's basically decision warfare.
This is exactly why we need to talk about decision-making from a Stoic perspective, and maybe save Jim from starving to death while staring at a menu.
Hey now.
So here's the fundamental thing most people get wrong about decisions. They think a good decision equals a good outcome.
Wait, that sounds right though. If I decide to take an umbrella and it rains, good decision. If I don't and I get soaked, bad decision.
Nope. That's outcome bias, my friend. The Stoics would tell you that the decision and the outcome are two completely separate things.
Okay, you lost me already. How is getting drenched not evidence of a bad decision?
Because you don't control the weather. Marcus Aurelius was crystal clear about this. You control your process, your reasoning, your choices. You don't control what happens after.
So even if I check the forecast, bring an umbrella, and a random tornado still forms and blows me to Kansas, that's still a good decision?
If you followed a sound process? Absolutely. Though I'd argue checking for tornado warnings might be part of that process.
Well, I'll be darned. So it's about how I decide, not what happens after I decide.
Exactly. This is liberating, actually. You can have a terrible outcome and still know you made a solid decision. The universe just had other plans.
That does take some pressure off. I've been beating myself up over decisions for years based on how they turned out.
Right? And the flip side is also true. Bad decision-making can lead to good outcomes. You could randomly pick stocks while blindfolded and get lucky.
I feel personally attacked by that example.
Jim, did you actually pick stocks blindfolded?
Not literally blindfolded, but I may have chosen one because I liked their logo. In my defense, it was a really cool logo.
Oh boy. Okay, so let's talk about how to actually improve your decision-making process. There are 6 questions that can transform how you think.
6? That's way more than the 0 questions I currently ask myself.
Here's the first one. Why might my belief not be true? Notice what this question does. It immediately challenges your certainty.
So instead of assuming I'm right, I should assume I might be wrong?
Not assume you're wrong. Just be open to the possibility. The Stoics called this maintaining a proper relationship with your impressions.
Impressions.
Your initial judgments about things. Epictetus taught that we should examine every impression and ask if it's actually true or just seems true.
Got it. So question 1 is basically me arguing with myself.
In the healthiest way possible, yes. Question 2. What other evidence might be out there bearing on my belief?
That one seems obvious, though. Look for more information.
Sure, but how often do you actually do it? Most people make decisions based on the first few pieces of information they encounter. That's confirmation bias in action.
Okay, guilty. I definitely do that with restaurant reviews. I read 3 5-star reviews and I'm sold.
And then you probably ignore the 1-star review that mentions they found a hair in their soup.
Everyone has a bad day. Maybe the hair was just visiting.
A visiting hair. That's a new one. Anyway, question 3. Are there similar areas I can look toward to gauge whether similar beliefs to mine are true?
This sounds like looking for patterns in other situations.
Precisely. If you're deciding whether to start a business, look at similar businesses. What worked? What failed? Don't just rely on your one brilliant idea.
Makes sense. Though I gotta say, these questions are starting to make decision-making sound exhausting.
Only for big decisions, Jim. You don't need to do this for picking sandwiches.
Thank goodness I'd never eat.
Question 4. What sources of information could I have missed or minimized on the way to reaching my belief?
Oh, this is about my blind spots.
Yes. And here's where Stoicism really shines. The Stoics were obsessed with understanding their own cognitive limitations. They knew humans are terrible at seeing their blind spots.
So how do I see something I can't see? That's like telling me to look at the back of my own head.
You use mirrors, Jim. Metaphorical mirrors. Other people, other perspectives, different sources.
Right, which leads nicely into question 5, I'm guessing?
Look at you learning. Yes, question 5. What are the reasons someone else could have a different belief? What's their support, and why might they be right instead of me?
That's a mouthful. But I like it. It's basically forcing me to genuinely consider the other side.
Not just consider it, but actually try to understand why they might be correct and you might be wrong. This is intellectual humility at its finest.
The Stoics were really into humility, weren't they?
Absolutely. Marcus Aurelius literally ran an empire and still spent time in his journals questioning his own judgments. If the Emperor of Rome can question himself, so can we.
Fair point. Though he didn't have to deal with 17 sandwich options.
Let it go, Jim. Last question. Number 6. What other perspectives are there as to why things turned out the way they did?
This sounds like it's about outcomes, though. I thought we didn't care about outcomes.
We don't judge decisions by outcomes, but we should still examine outcomes to learn from them. See the difference?
I think so. It's like don't beat yourself up over a bad outcome, but do study it to understand what happened.
Exactly. And considering multiple perspectives on why something turned out a certain way helps you avoid oversimplifying. Life is complex.
Yeah, but here's my question. If I go through all 6 of these questions for every decision, won't I just freeze up? Analysis, paralysis, and all that?
Great question. And yes, that's a real danger. The Stoics would say you need to find the balance between thoughtful deliberation and decisive action.
How do I know when I've thought enough?
Here's the Stoic secret. You can never have complete information. Never. So at some point you have to act based on what you do know.
That's actually reassuring. I don't need to know everything.
You literally cannot know everything. The goal isn't certainty. The goal is a sound process that accounts for uncertainty.
Okay, so walk me through this. I'm facing a decision, maybe a job offer. How do I use these questions without going crazy?
First, acknowledge what you believe. Maybe you think you should take the job because it pays more.
More money is good, right?
Maybe. Now ask yourself, why might that belief not be true? What if the higher pay comes with terrible work-life balance? What if the company culture is toxic?
Got it. Challenge my automatic assumption.
Then look for other evidence. Talk to people who work there. Research the company. Don't just rely on the glossy job description.
Makes sense. And I could look at similar job changes people have made to see how they turned out.
Perfect. You're getting it. Then ask what information you might be ignoring. Are you minimizing the fact that you actually like your current job?
Or that my current boss is actually pretty great, even if the pay is lower.
Right. Then genuinely consider why someone might advise you not to take the job. What's their reasoning? Could they be right?
And finally, think about why other people's job changes worked out the way they did. Multiple perspectives on the outcome.
You've got it. After going through that process, you make your decision. And then, here's the Stoic part. You accept whatever happens.
Because I don't control the outcome.
Exactly. You did your due diligence. You followed a sound process. The rest is up to fate, fortune, or whatever you want to call it.
This is actually really freeing. I've been so worried about making the perfect decision, but there is no perfect decision.
There's only the best decision you can make with the information and wisdom you have at the time. That's all anyone can do.
What about the opposite problem? People who just go with their gut without thinking at all?
Extinction by instinct. That's what happens when you trust your feelings over your reasoning. The Stoics were very clear. Emotions can mislead us.
But aren't instincts sometimes right? Like, I had a bad feeling about a guy once, and he turned out to be a jerk.
Sure, but how many times did you have a bad feeling about someone who turned out to be perfectly fine? We remember the hits and forget the misses.
Good point. Confirmation bias strikes again.
The Stoics would say, use your instincts as one data point among many, but don't let them drive the car. Let reason drive.
Instincts can ride shotgun and occasionally yell about gas station snacks.
That's actually a pretty good metaphor. One more pitfall, information overload. This is when people ask everyone for advice and end up more confused.
Oh, I've done this. Ask 10 people for advice, get 10 different answers, and now I'm more lost than when I started.
The solution is to be selective about your sources. Seek out people with relevant experience and good judgment. Quality over quantity.
So I shouldn't ask my uncle who thinks the moon landing was faked about my career decisions?
Probably not, no. Unless your career involves elaborate hoaxes, I suppose.
Fair enough. So to wrap this up, focus on the process, not the outcome. Ask these 6 questions to challenge your thinking and avoid the pitfalls of paralysis, pure instinct, and too much noise.
Perfect summary. The beauty of this approach is it works for everything from major life choices to everyday decisions.
Though maybe not the sandwich thing. I think I'm just going to close my eyes and point at the menu from now on.
That's extinction by instinct, Jim.
No, that's extinction by hunger. There's a difference.
Indeed. Well, listeners, we'd love to hear how you approach decision-making. Do you tend toward analysis paralysis or going with your gut?
Share your stories with us. And if you've got any decision-making disasters, those are especially entertaining.
Before we go, remember to like and subscribe. It helps us reach more people who could benefit from Stoic wisdom.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Until next time, think carefully, act decisively, and maybe don't overthink your lunch order.
This podcast is powered by VoxCrea.ai, where ideas find their voice.